Right. Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you all to our 8th Zoom technology class. I have not, it's really great to see everyone. I haven't seen you guys in, it's been 2 or 3 weeks now. I hope everyone had a very nice Passover and Easter and a very nice the past 2 weeks. It's really great to see all of you here with us today. We have a really amazing lesson planned and we are going to get started because we do have a lot to get through. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping announcements. This is lesson 8 out of lesson 10. We will be running this class until Mother's Day. That's the conclusion of our semester. So for the next 3 or 4 weeks, we will be continuing these lessons. Today's lesson is going to revolve around online banking and using virtual platforms in order to do everything you would do in a bank, but using a smartphone or your technology devices, which I think will be really fascinating, a lesson that we have taught before. We are going to start today's lesson by showing you a quick 2 to 3 minute video that I find very funny, and I've showed it in this class before. It's about a man trying to help his mother get set up on Zoom. So we're going to watch this video before we get started as people continue to come in, and then we will get started with the lesson. This video is in Hebrew, but there are subtitles in English. So we're going to play this, and then we will get started.
היי אמא, כן, יש לי כמה דקות עכשיו. יש לך כבר זום מותקן על המחשב? לא משנה, זה די פשוט. נתחיל מההתחלה. טוב, עכשיו כנסי לאתר ZOOM, זום. אני מחכה, כל טוב, בלי לחץ. תעשי יירשם בעזרת גוגל. תכניסי את הסיסמה של המייל. אני לא יודע מה הסיסמה של המייל שלך, זה את צריכה לדעת. יכול להיות שאת על קפסלוק, עכשיו תכניסי שוב את הסיסמה. יופי, עכשיו כנסי לזום, תקראי לי את האפשרויות. New meeting בכתום. כן, את רואה את עצמך. עכשיו תלחצי על Manage Participant, זה למטה. זה בסרגל שנפתח לך למטה. Manage Participant. מה האפשרויות שיש לך? Manage Participant. צריכה להזיז קצת העכבר. Manage Participant. כן, Invite. תחפשי copy URL. מה האפשרויות שיש לך שם? אמא, יש שם copy URL. מתחת לזה, מתחת, כן. יש שם copy, אמא, יש שם copy, האותיות URL. יש שם. הכל טוב. אני מתקשר אלייך בוואטסאפ, תעני לי. היי אמא, תסובבי את המצלמה. אני רואה אותך, אני רוצה לראות את המסך. איך הגעת למסך הזה? תסגרי, תלחצי, copy URL. הנה, copy, את רואה בצד ימין. אפשר לשלוח גם במייל. אם נעמי אומרת שאת תהנה מוואטסאפ ווב, אנחנו נעשה את זה. תרשמי בגוגל וואטסאפ ווב. שימי את הפלאפון מול המסך שיצלם את הקוד. לא, ממש עם המצלמה. יש לך וואטסאפ ווב. עכשיו תחפשי אותי, תשלחי לי את ה-URL. אני בפגישה, איפה את? אבל למה סגרת את הזום? לא נורא, כנסי שוב. New meeting, Manage Participants. Manage Participant. Invite, copy URL, תמזערי את הזום. לא, אל תצאי, למזער. מין פס קטן שנמצא ליד ה-X. למה סגרת את הוואטסאפ? לא אשמתך. כן, אני רואה את ההזמנה. תאשרי אותי. את צריכה לאשר אותי. Manage Participants. Manage, כן, על השם שלי, אדמית. אמא, יש שם אדמית. אני לא בוכה. איזה אפשרויות את רואה? כן, אדמית. היי!
הנה, עכשיו אני רואה אותך, איזה יופי. וואי, אתה רואה גם אותי? עכשיו תסביר לי איך אני משתף את המסך, גם הם יראו את הזום וגם הם יראו את המצגת וישמעו אותי מסבירה. אפשר לעשות דבר כזה?
בואי נהנה ממה שיש, מחר נשתף מסך. יופי. תעשי live meeting. באדום למעלה. live. אני מצטער.
Okay, thought that was a nice way to open up today's class. A very funny video. I laugh every time I see it. Okay, so welcome everyone. We have a few more people joining us. A few more announcements. Once again, if you have not been receiving updates from us either through our WhatsApp platform or our email list, please make sure you reach out to myself or Julia, Caroline, or Joe today. This is very important that you do that. If this is your first class, I'm not sure if it's any of you, but if it is your first class, you could watch the recordings of our previous classes on our YouTube channel, which Joe will put the link into the chat, so you have that. And also, we will be having a Q&A session tomorrow night, so you should write down questions you have regarding today's lesson. Write them down, and we will address them at tomorrow's session. Make sure you have those and send those questions to us before the session so we know which questions you would like us to address. Okay. So let's get started. Like I said, today's lesson is going to revolve around online banking. Joe, you can go to the next slide. So we're going to start today by showing you the apps on your phone that could allow you to do online banking and cash checks, pay a bill, view recent transactions. Then we're going to be looking at a very popular program nowadays. It's called Venmo. And then in breakout rooms, this is actually a mistake. We changed this. The first option is correct. We're going to have PayPal as one of our options. Our second breakout room is going to be the Maps app. On the phone, which is how you find directions to places, how you see if there's traffic, when you want to go somewhere, or what's the best time to leave. All of that will be done in the Maps breakout room, which we'll discuss more at the end of the class. But we're going to start now with online banking. All right, next slide, Joe. Okay, so first let me give you just a brief definition. I'll read what it says here. Simply put, online banking means using a computer or mobile device to transfer money, pay bills, view your account balance, or do almost any other banking activity. Generally, if you already have a bank account, you'll want to set up an online banking with that same bank. Most well-known banks make it easy to do this from your home computer. So almost all banks, or almost all popular banks nowadays, have online banking accessibilities. So TD Bank, City One, Capital Bank, all these kind of well-known banks, around the U.S. Are accessible online, and especially now during the pandemic, they had to boost that up. They had to make that platform stronger because a lot of people were relying on that as their source of banking. So I always like to start a discussion by telling you what the advantages are. Why should you turn to use online banking as opposed to what you're used to, which is walking into a bank with a checkbook and seeing it be signed. Some of you prefer that method. So we're now going to go through a few of the advantages and why you should adjust to using online banking. So that's the next slide, Joe. And Caroline, you can go through these.
Okay, hi guys. So the differences between online banking and regular banking is the first is that it's usually free and it can even save you money. So by paying your bills online, you won't have to buy as many stamps. So online banking is free, whereas regular banking, you need to buy the stamps and you need to buy other equipment like envelopes and other things and go to the bank. So the second advantage is that you'll make fewer trips to the bank, which can save you time. So that'll add time to your day and it'll be more convenient for you. Then the third is that you don't have to worry about getting to the bank before they close because online banking can be done at any time of the day or at night. So you don't need to make your trips to the bank. So technically you can even do online banking at 3 in the morning or 5 a.m. when you wake up, if you guys wake up then. Like it is done at any time of the day, which is very easy and good. Then fourth, there are many banks that also have mobile apps for smartphones and tablets, so you can make transfers or check your balance when you're on the go. So through your phone, you can also constantly be checking your online banking, and you don't need to make your trip again to the bank to check it and find out your balance or anything else.
Okay. Great. So you could see that those are a few of the advantages to using online banking. Now, I'm hoping that this will convince you to adjust from your typical, in-person going to a bank and cashing checks that way to actually use the online virtual system. And we're going to show you how to use that today. All right, Joe, you can go to the next slide. So I have a few pictures here of some of the most common banks. We have TD Bank, Chase Bank, and Bank of America. There are many others. If your bank isn't one of these, do not worry. This is not limited to these three options, but there are many others that offer this service. I'm going to be doing the demo today with TD Bank because that's the bank platform that I have an account under. But the process is almost identical when you're using any other banking profile. I'm going to show you a few of the things that I think are most common and relevant, especially during the time of the pandemic. So Joe, you could stop screen sharing. I'm going to screen share my smartphone. Now, all of these programs are third-party apps. They do not come with the phone. You have to download them separately, and you could do that the same way we actually showed you before by going to the App Store or to the Google Play Store if you were on an Android device, and by typing in the name of the app into the App Store. So if I'm typing in TD Bank into the App Store, you'll see how either my first or second option, it should say what I'm looking for. There's TD Bank US. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And you will click on Get. Right now it says Open because I already have the app downloaded, but you would see a button that looks like this in order to download the app to your smartphone. Once it's downloaded to your smartphone, you typically see it at the end of your home screen. There's my TD Bank app right over there. You see it has the logo. It says TD Bank. I can go ahead and actually click on that in order to see what the app looks like. Now, when you first download the app, the first time you're starting with this, if this is your first time using online banking, it will ask you to type in your information that's affiliated with your account. So you want to download the app that you have a bank account with. So if I have a bank account with TD Bank, which is what I'm doing, that's the app I'm downloading. And it will ask me to type in some basic information like my account number or maybe my credit or debit card information. And that way it's able to detect that you are the person in charge of your account. And this phone can show you the information. So you should definitely not be afraid to put in information that it requests the first time you open up the app. Because the reason why it's asking you for that information is to verify that you are the person in charge of the account and to give you access to seeing the information. So once you have gone through that process, you will see a page that looks something like this. Now, at the top of the screen, here are the important buttons. We have, starting from the left, accounts, transfer, deposit, send money, and pay a bill. So the first one, accounts. If you have multiple accounts with TD Bank, you could actually have multiple accounts on the app. So if you have, let's say, a business profile and a personal profile, you could actually have both of them and go through them by clicking on accounts. Transfer is to send money from one account to another. You need at least 2 accounts to do this because you need a place you're getting the money from and a place that you're sending the money to. So you need 2 accounts in order to use the transfer functionality. Deposit is when you want to cash a check. I'm going to open up all of these and explain more specifically, but just in general, deposit, when you get a check, you want to deposit it into your bank account. You will basically take a picture of the check and it will automatically take the money and place it into your bank account. Now, sending money is done through a program called Zelle, Z-E-L-L-E. This I do not use. I'm not going to be explaining it today because I recommend using Venmo, which is what we are going to show you for sending money virtually. But TD Bank also offers their own system called Zelle, which you could definitely check out, but that's not something we're going to be showing today. And then finally is for paying bills. So I'm going to start by clicking on accounts. Now, you'll see, one second, let's clear all this. Okay. So basically, you'll see that when I clicked on accounts, it says right over here, TD Convenience Checking. And it also has 6296. Now, what that means is that is the account that when I downloaded this app for the first time, I put in the information for this checking account. If I had multiple accounts, you'll see listed all across here the accounts that you have. Right now, I only have 1 account, so that's the one that you see. Now, to see information about it, you could just click on it. If I want to open a new account, if I want to add an account to this platform, there's a button right over there that says open a new account. And also manage your cards is also a nice button. If you click on that, you could remove or add credit and debit cards that you have hooked up to this TD Bank account. So you could do that by clicking on those buttons over there. And you'll see that it also shows you the amount of money, which I blocked out over here, but you'll see the amount of money in this account. And also in the total line, you'll see the amount of money in all the accounts you have listed. For me, the account and the total is the same because I only have 1 account, but you could have multiple if you click on open new account and add multiple. I'm now gonna go ahead and click on my account over here. Now you'll see, one second. Okay, now you'll see that when I click on my account, you'll see how and I scroll down, you will see how there are my most recent payments. So you'll see this says April 6th, this is April 2nd, April 1st. You'll see your most recent payments. Now, if you see a payment that is green, you see, for example, this one, 1907, that's in green. And this one has a minus next to it and it's in gray. The green means that the money has been added to your account, meaning you received the money. And the gray with the minus means that's money that you've paid or money that's been transferred or taken out of your money. Of your account. So you can go through this platform and scroll down and down and down and kind of see all your most recent payments. If you want to make sure a payment's gone through after, you send $5,000 to someone and it's a big payment, you want to make sure that they received the money. instead of waiting or walking over to the bank or waiting for it to come through the mail, it's automatically shown on the app platform. And you could see if it's green, that means you received the money. And if it has that minus, that means it was taken out of your account. Now you could see more information about your account by clicking on details, your account number, routing number, all that, and also your statements as well. Now, if I click on pay a bill, which is my first option over here on the left, you'll see, it's loading for a second. It looks empty in here, add a bill to get started. Right now, I currently do not have any bills, but if I click on add a bill, it will ask you, who do you want to pay? Meaning who is the person or who is the organization or the company that you want to send the money to. It says, use the above search field to find a biller. You can also add your own by selecting add your own biller after you begin your search. So when you start to type in the name of a company or a person, it will come up with names and bank accounts that are already signed up with TD Bank. The party that you're sending the money to has to also be in their system. But if it's not, you could do what they're saying over here, which is add your own biller, meaning something that TD Bank is not familiar with, maybe because they don't have a TD account or no one's ever paid this person before using the TD profile. So I'm not sure if this will work, but if I type in, let's say Mittler, right. So if you type in something that, like, for example, the bank account, there currently is no bank account named Mittler, but if there was, and it says this, your search for Mittler did not return any results, meaning no one's ever paid this Mittler before, you can click on add your own biller, and you'll be able to manually put in the information that you want to pay this profile. It makes it much easier when you're paying someone that's already in the system because their account number, all that information is already in here. And let's say you're paying someone every week, $70. The first time you do it, it's obviously the hardest, but once it's in the system, then from then on, it's much, much easier in order to make payments because it's already in the system and you have it there. So that's paying a bill by clicking on the pay a bill button. Now, next to that, we have transfer. Now, you'll see when I click on transfer, there's going to be an error. Why is there going to be an error? Because I only have one account on my TD Bank profile. Like I said at the beginning, you need two accounts in order to transfer because just like it sounds, you're transferring money from one bank account to another. So you'll see if I click on transfer, it will say, we're sorry, but you do not have enough accounts. You need at least two accounts, but it makes it very easy to send money from one account to another. Just going to the bank to send $20 from your business to your main account it just really doesn't make sense when you could do it this just so simple online. Sometimes it doesn't happen right away, it doesn't happen instantly, but it's definitely much faster than going to a physical bank and going through that process physically. Now if I go back to over here, you'll see how the last button we have over here is deposit. And this is probably the most important because this is what people are kind of doing nowadays, when they get checks and they want to cash the check. So if I click on deposit, you'll see, one second. Okay. Now you'll see that when I click on make a deposit, you'll see how it gives me it says TD convenience checking. That's the account that I have hooked up to this profile. If I click on that, you'll actually see that it will give me other options of other accounts. So if you have other accounts, other bank accounts hooked up to this profile, and you click on you click on TD convenience checking, you will see the other options. Right now, nothing's happening because I only have the one account. Now, under that amount, you will type in where it says 00.00. You'll type in, let's say I type in $5. Make sure that you're putting in the correct zeros. You can't just type in 5. Right, but you have to type in 500 because of the decimal point. Make sure it looks, it's formatted correctly. And then here's the most important part, which is photographing your check. Now you'll see how there's a button that says front and a button that says back. You need to sign the back of the check as you would always do, but you need to have that done before you're taking your picture. Now I'm going to click on front, the little camera in front, and you'll see how it's actually giving me a camera, and it's also giving me an outline of where I should place the check in order so it scans correctly. Like it says memo over here, it says the number, it says the date. Now, sometimes you might have to move the camera around in order to get the best picture. It might say, move your camera closer or move your camera farther back, or use a dark background. Now, right now I have no check, so it's trying to pick up a check, but it's not being successful. You want to make sure that your check is on a dark background. So don't put it on like a white table, but it's on, maybe you could put it on a book, a black book or a blue book, or some other table or surface that isn't as bright, and it will be able to identify the check. Make sure that you hold it up, not too close and not too far, so that it's able to scan the check. Once it's done, you don't have to take the picture. It will actually take the picture for you automatically once it identifies the check. Once you do that, you'll click on back, and it's just the exact same procedure. You'll see endorse here. That's the signature. Make sure you align that as well. It will take the picture automatically if it's able to identify the check. Once it does that, you will click on continue at the bottom of the screen, which will become a green button once you have put in your pictures. It will ask you to verify that this is the amount. $5 is the correct amount. That this is the correct bank account that you want to place the money in. Great, it's verified. It will be placed into your bank account. It might take, depending on how much it is, it might take a few minutes. Sometimes it might take a few hours. If it's $10,000, it might take some time to get in. So I would definitely be patient with this type of stuff. It might take some time, but it's definitely, the entire procedure is definitely quicker than actually using the physical bank and walking over with your stack of checkbooks. This is extremely reliable, meaning it's not trying to steal your information. There's no really security problems because this app is designed by your bank. It's not a third party of the bank. It's designed by the bank for you to cash and for you to use and manage your payments. And you could do that all directly inside this app. So once again, you should download, if you have not done this, if you've not used this before, you should download the app that is affiliated with your bank account. So in this case, it's TD Bank, but whatever it is, you should download it. When you first download it, you'll be asked to type in basic account information, like your account number, maybe your name, your email, information like that, which you should not be afraid to put in. Once you do that, your bank account will be added. You could add multiple accounts by clicking on the open a new account button over here. Once you have added your account, you have the pay a bill button to pay bills. The first time you're paying someone, it's obviously the hardest because you need to type in their account information, their banking information. But it's important that you do that the first time at least, so you have them stored into your contact, especially if you're paying them a bunch of times. Transfer, you need at least 2 accounts to send from one account to another. It's a very easy process. Just click on transfer. It will ask you which account you want to send from, which account you want to send to, and how much, of course. And then deposit, which is the ability to take pictures and scan checks, and they will be placed directly into your bank account. And then finally, all these options over here where you could view your bank account history and see your most recent payments and confirm that a payment has been taken out of your account or put in your account, which might take a few days without this app to actually get notice of if you're relying on the mail, the printed post office, or you're relying on some sort of message from the person you're paying. So if you've not used this sort of process before, you should definitely check this out. Based on the advantages and the platforms that we showed you today, you should definitely try this out. Like I said, we skipped over the option that says send money because we're going to show you actually in a few seconds another platform which is used for sending money virtually from one person to another, and that's called Venmo. I recommend using Venmo, which is what we're going to show you today, as opposed to using the option on the banking profiles. The banking profiles are great for checks and deposits and paying bills and transferring money, but I think the best platform for sending virtual money is done using a program known as Venmo. So I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to go back to the presentation and we're going to take a look at Venmo together. I'm sure if you haven't used it before, you have heard of it because it's all over the news and it's a program that people are using. I'll explain briefly what exactly Venmo is. I'll read what it says here. You've probably found yourself in a situation where you needed to pay a friend but did not have a cash or check on you. These situations could include sharing a cab, splitting a meal, or maybe even paying rent or bills to a roommate. Instead of going to an ATM or writing a check, there's an easier solution, and that is Venmo. Venmo is an online service owned by PayPal that allows you to quickly pay and request money from your friends. It also functions as a social media platform where you could view, like, and comment on your friends' recent payment activities. So that last part isn't something that you guys are going to be using, specifically as much. But what's most important, and it's highlighted in bold, is to pay and request money from your friends or your colleagues, or even businesses have Venmo bank accounts. Something else that's pretty cool is that there is no expenses for Venmo. So if I send you $50 on Venmo, it will not take out a fee. It will not deduct any money, but it gives the user the direct $50. And they can then transfer the money from Venmo into their bank account. We're going to show you how to hook this all up. Joe, you can go to the next slide. And Joe's now going to explain how to download Venmo, which is similar to what we've been discussing before, and also how to set up an account on Venmo.
Okay. So to download Venmo, it's the same thing as downloading any other app. As Jordan showed you for TD Bank, you go to the App Store, you click on the magnifying glass on the bottom, and then you search for the app, and then you click Get or Install. It's very similar in the Google Play Store. And then once you have that downloaded, you want to set up your Venmo account. If you have a Facebook account, you could just use Facebook, and then you won't have to do so much. But if you don't have a Facebook account, you should click sign up with email, and then you will be asked for your email address, phone number, and bank account information. You need to put in all of this information so Venmo can send money. And then I think once you do that, you should have your account set up.
Great. So like Joe said, you could use either the Facebook button or the email button. If you are comfortable with Facebook, you can use that option because Facebook has your information. You probably put in your email at some point into Facebook, so it might make the process faster. But I always recommend relying on your email, because if something ever happens to Facebook or you don't want an account anymore and this is connected to it, it might mess it up. So I would recommend using your email for setting this up. It will ask for basic information, just like the online banking app, such as your email, phone number, and of course your bank account information. One of the differences with Venmo is that you do not have to put in a bank account. You could put in a debit card if you would like, as opposed to a bank account information, and it will just use the debit card. Debit cards are hooked up to your bank account, so you don't actually have to put in your account number and all that information. You could just put in your debit card number, and Venmo will use that as its resource for taking money out and putting money in, it's pretty much done the same way through a bank, but you could, if you would prefer to use that, you can. So when you're signing up with Venmo, it will ask you, add a bank account, add a debit card, add a credit or debit card. It will ask you those options. You should choose whichever one you prefer. I currently have a debit card hooked up to my Venmo account, but it's really up to preference which one you want to use. So Joe, you could screen share your phone, and Joe's going to open up Venmo. Venmo, like Joe said, is a third-party app. You should download it separately, the same way we did at TD Bank, the same way we did Spotify and Apple and Netflix. We looked at all those third-party apps. WhatsApp, they're all downloaded the same way, which is going to the App Store or Google Play Store and downloading it from there. You can see that Venmo is like a blue icon with a white V in it. That's what it looks like. Joe, you can go ahead and click on that. And now Joe has Venmo open. This is not what you'll see when you first open it. When you first open it, you'll be asked to type in your information. Once you do that, then you'll be taken here. And once you're here, you'll be able to start using Venmo. Now, let me just briefly explain a few things here on the interface. So you'll see at the top of the screen, you should see your initials. That's basically your profile. You'll see a globe, you'll see two people, you'll see this cash in 3 lines, and you'll also see 3 lines. There's been a new update to Venmo, which has that kind of cash and 3 line icon. If you do not see that, you might see one person, which is also fine. There was an update to Venmo like a week ago, so that's something new, but it means the same thing. They just changed what the icon looks like. Basically, and this I don't think will be too much, you guys will use too much, but if you want to see payments made by people around the world, you will click on the globe. You won't see how much, but you'll see who was involved in the transaction. If you click on the two people, you'll see people who you are friends with or people who are in your contacts. And if you see this cash with the 3 lines or the icon with the 1 person, you will see all the information involving you. So transactions that involve money that that has been taken out or added to your account. Now you'll see just like TD Bank, red with the minus means it's been taken out, and the green plus means it's been put into your Venmo account. Now, right now it says at the top of the screen, Joe has $124 in his Venmo account. You are able, just like it says transfer, to take that money and bring it into your debit card or bank account, whichever account you have hooked up to this account. Joe, we're not gonna do this now, or you could keep the money in Venmo, meaning it doesn't do it automatically. Some people like keeping $100, let's say, in Venmo, so that when they do Venmo fees, it doesn't always take it out of their bank account, but it uses first what they have in their Venmo balance. So what we're going to show you now, the first thing is how to pay someone money using Venmo, and also how to request money from someone else using Venmo. And Julia is going to explain that.
Okay, so to pay or request money on Venmo, you're going to click on that blue button on the bottom of your screen. You can see that it says pay or request. And to pay money, that means that you're going to give somebody else money. And requesting money means that you're going to ask someone else to send you money. So you can see that Joe is now typing in Jordan's name into the search bar. So this is who he's going to either pay or request money from. Then you could see next to his name, there's a money sign, and right now it's a 0. So here you're going to type in the amount of money that you either want to pay Jordan or you want to request from Jordan. So Joe just typed in $1. So that means if he either clicks pay or request, that's the amount of money that's being handled. Then below it, you could see there's a little line where it says, what is it for? So you're able to type like a short little subject about what the money is being transferred about the reason it's being transferred, so that if you're ever looking back on your payments, you're able to know why you sent them the money or why you requested the money. And also if Jordan were to look back on his payments, he would know also. And then you're either going to press pay or request, depending on the function that you want to use. So if you were to press pay, that would then send the money to Jordan. And if you were to press request, it wouldn't automatically put the money into your account. First, Jordan would need to accept that request. And once he accepts it, then the money would be transferred into your account. You could see that right above it. There's a little setting that says that it's private. So that means that this transaction is private and other people on Venmo can't see what you're doing. But if you wanted to change the settings, you could click on that button and you could change it to public, or you could change it so that your friends on Venmo can see it. But we recommend that you keep it private unless you want other people to see it.
Great. So you can see how simple it is. I even compare it to sending a text message. You're composing a payment. You're clicking on pay or request, typing in who you want to, who's the message to, or who you want to send the money to, and then also if you want to request money, like Julia said, we really recommend putting in 1 or 2 words for where it says what's it for, especially if you end up using Venmo a lot and you're making all these payments. It's very hard to go back and see and remember what each payment was actually used for. So even just like a 1-line, Joe wrote tech lesson and the date today, that's pretty specific. So we know that when we go back, looking at these payments, we know that on April 11th, we taught online banking and Joe did this demo here. But I really recommend putting in 1 or 2 words just so you and the recipient or the person you're paying knows exactly what the payment's for. Now, like Julia said, it said private right above request and pay. Like Julia said, you could change that every time you want to make a payment. Like we said, you should keep it on private. And we're going to show you how to actually set your default as private so that you don't have to change it every time, but that it's always kept as private. And if you want to change it, you can, but we think that most of you would rather keep the setting under private. So we're going to show you how to lock it in and reserve it as private. But first, what we're going to show now is how to take the money that you receive through Venmo and how to transfer that money to your bank account or to your credit or debit card. Like I said, the money does not go directly into the account. It stays in Venmo until you manually do this. So right now, Joe has $124. He has not transferred that money yet. That's money that he has, he has received on Venmo. And at some point when he wants to bring it to his bank account, he can do that. Like I said, some people like keeping money in Venmo, especially if you're going to use it a lot, so that you could use that money when you're paying. If I want to pay $20, it will take it from here as opposed to taking it from my bank account first. So Caroline's now going to show you how to transfer that money from Venmo to your bank account.
Okay, so if you want to transfer your money from Venmo to your bank account, what you want to do is you want to click on the three black lines at the top of your screen with the red dot through it, and it should bring you to this key bar. So Joe, if you go back again just to show the lines and the button that we used, it's this button in the top right of your corner with three black lines and a red button at the top. So once you click on that, what you want to do is you see your Venmo balance right here. It says Joe has $124 in Venmo. So once you see that, right next to it, it should say transfer balance. And you want to click on that transfer balance, and it should bring you to this little key bar. So now you have your money, and you have the maximum amount that you could transfer. So let's say that you want to keep some money in your Venmo account and you only want to transfer a little. You can choose a specific amount of dollars that you want to transfer to your bank account. So right now, Joe only wants to transfer 5, and the rest, which will be 119, will still remain in his Venmo account. So then it shows you on the bottom how long it will take. So it'll take 1 to 3 business days to transfer, and it'll also, it'll go instantly with $10. So you can choose between those two options and it'll transfer to your bank account. So again, there are 2 options for how long it will take to transfer. So either you can do it for free for 1 to 3 business days or instantly with a little fee.
Great. Joe, just stay here for 1 second. I would just say that I've been using Venmo for a few years now. I have never paid the instant 1% fee. And I've actually, come to see that the 1 to 3 business days doesn't take that as long as it seems. It might even take a few minutes or a few hours. So if you're not in the rush for the money to be put into your account, there's nothing wrong with using the 1 to 3 business days. That just means that the money that you're transferring, you'll get all $5 will be put into your bank account. If you are very, very desperate, you need the money right now, you're more than welcome to use Instant, and you'll get the money that second into your bank account or into your debit card. So that's how you transfer money from Venmo into your bank account. Some people do this after every single transaction. Some people do this every month after they've been using Venmo for a long time. Some people don't do it ever. They like to keep money in Venmo. It's up to you how you want to do this. It's important to note that when you're paying someone using Venmo, it will first take the money from your Venmo balance. It will first take money from there. Once that comes down to 0, then it will take money from your debit card, your credit card, or your bank account, whatever you have hooked up to your account. So it will first drain down the $124 that Joe has in his account. Once he gets to 0, then the remaining transactions that he participates in will come from the account or credit or debit card that he has connected to this Venmo account. So that's important to keep in mind. Now the last thing I'm going to show you, Joe's now going to explain how to make your account private so that all your payments, all your transactions are kept secure, and that the default when you are paying and requesting money is private. So you don't have to change it every time you want to do that. I'm not sure what the default is when you first get the app, but whatever it is, if it's public, Joe's now going to show you how to change that so that it's private every time you make a transaction.
Okay, So to change the privacy of your Venmo account, you want to click on that same button on the top right of your screen with 3 lines. And then you should see something called settings. And then if you look in the middle of the screen, there should be a button called privacy with a lock next to it. Jordan, if you could just circle that. Yeah. So then if you click on privacy, you see you have 3 options: public, friends, and private. Right now, mine is set for private, which we recommend. There's usually no reason for someone else to know about your payments within Venmo. But if you, for some reason, want it to be friends or public, then you can just click on that and change it.
Great. So like I said, I'm not sure what the default is when you first get the app, but you should just make sure before you start using the platform, just click on those 3 lines, go to settings, go to privacy, make sure that that's all set. Now, if you forget to do this, or you don't actually do this, it's fine, because if your friends do see this payment, they don't actually see the money involved. They just see that you, like, Joe, if you go to the friends page, you'll see how it says something like, this person paid this person, but it doesn't say the actual amount of money that was involved in the transaction. But just to be safe, let's make sure everyone's accounts are private. Click on the 3 lines and make sure your account is private, especially when you're starting to use the program. Just to recap, Venmo is specifically built and designed for paying money from one person to another, some businesses do have Venmo. It's more for one person to another. If you're going out for dinner with a friend, they pay $100 cash and you want to split it, you could Venmo them $50. That's kind of how the procedure works. Venmo has been developing a platform for using Venmo in stores, and going to a Starbucks, for example, and having a Venmo card. Like I said to someone in the chat, you should not rely on that just because Venmo isn't designed for that. There are other platforms like Apple Pay, you might have heard of, that actually allow you to do payments in stores. Venmo is specifically built and designed for making payments from one person to another virtually, and that's what I recommend using the platform for. All right, so that's a brief overview of Venmo. Once again, if you have been writing down any questions that you have on Venmo or even on online banking, keep those written down. Send an email to myself, Julie, Caroline, or Joe after the class, and we will address those questions at tomorrow's Q&A session. Okay, let's go back to the slides. For the last around 15 minutes or so of class, you're going to have 2 options of breakout rooms that you could participate in. The first one is PayPal. I'm going to show you how to use the PayPal interface to make transactions online and keep track of your payments. I'll explain the difference between PayPal and the other programs that we've mentioned so far today. And then option 2, which isn't online banking related, but I think is important to be aware of, is the Maps app on smartphones that actually allows you to find directions to places, see how if there's traffic in a location, finding restaurants when you're en route, as you're going somewhere. So both of these are very useful and important breakout rooms. You could choose whichever one you would like when Joe opens the rooms. And we will be recording the option number 1. We'll be recording the PayPal room. So if you would like to see both rooms, we will be recording number 1. So you should go to option 2. But I recommend, we like having a split here. So some of you should go to 1, and it's hard for you to know, but you should choose the one that you are interested in learning the most. Okay. So Joe, you can open up the rooms. Joe will stay in this room to help the few of you who are not able to get into the rooms, and we will get started. Julie and Caroline, you guys can go to the room. Joe, are you able to open these up? And receive money as well as transfer money to your bank account. All right, so I'll explain what the difference. PayPal is extremely secure. It is one of the most secure payment methods that there is, and it's used to make payments online. So, for example, you're shopping on Amazon, you're shopping on Fresh Direct, Barnes & Noble, the websites that we looked at when we showed you how to do online shopping. PayPal is an option you could use. The reason why some people like to use PayPal is because PayPal does not give your credit card information or your bank account information to the website that you're using to shop, meaning it's done a little bit differently. Like it says, PayPal lets you make secure transactions without providing your credit card number to individual websites. I'm going to show you how to set up an account and also how to use it. I think I have some more slides here, which I'll mention. Oh, well, it looks like I have a video here just to explain what PayPal is. Let me play that for you guys.
At PayPal, we believe every day should be simple. Simple to visit family. Simple to try on the latest trend and get your money back with purchase protection if it's not what you ordered. Every day should be simple to earn credit card reward points and brownie points. Simple to go from point A to point anywhere with a single touch. To send money for an education and know that it gets there. It should be simple to split the check. To pay without handing over your payment information. PayPal is the most trusted way that millions of people buy, sell, and send any way they want without sharing their credit card numbers or personal information, all with an easy one-time setup that lets you add credit cards, bank accounts, and even PayPal credit for more time to pay. Because at PayPal, we believe your money should work for you, not the other way around. It's that.
Okay. So that did not have as much information as I thought would be helpful, but it gives you a brief overview of what PayPal is and what it could do.
At PayPal.
All right, so I always have to start off. Why use PayPal? So PayPal was one of the first online payment systems and is generally seen as one of the most trustworthy. As a result, you could use it to make payments to many online stores. PayPal is also an easy way to send money to a friend or family member as long as you both have a PayPal account. And then that last sentence is similar to what Venmo is used for, which could also be done on PayPal. Does PayPal cost money to use? The vast majority of uses are completely free to you on a personal basis. It is free to transfer money to your friends and family through PayPal as long as there is no currency conversion required. Just like Venmo, if you want to receive money instantly, there is a small fee, but the 1 to 3 business day option is free. So for the most part, PayPal is completely free to use. Okay, so PayPal does have an app on your phone that you could download and use the mobile platform. I'm going to show you how to get an account on a smartphone. I think that's the easiest way to show you how to get an account, which is how to actually get how to get an account on your smartphone. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go to the website, which is just paypal.com. Into my search bar, I'm going to type that in. Here's what the website looks like. You'll see that I'm either going to want to click on login or sign up. Login is when you want to sign in to the PayPal platform with an existing account. So if you already have an account, click on login. If you're just starting, go ahead and click on sign up. Now, the first question we'll ask you is if you're using PayPal for a personal or business account. I'm assuming most of you are using this for personal, so you'll click on the first option. PayPal does offer a very nice business profile, which you can use as well. I use a business profile for Mittler Senior Technology. So you could definitely check that out. There are some small fees when you use the business account, but personal accounts are mostly free. So I'm going to click on personal account, click on next. I'm not going to go through all of this, but you'll see that it will ask you for your phone number. It might not let me go through because I already have an account. All right, it might do something like this where it will send a code. You might have seen this before just to verify that this is your phone number. So I just received a text message you'll see over here with my security code 451903. So I'll do that over here, 451903. And then here's, you'll continue by typing in the information, your email, your legal first name, last name, and to type in your password twice. There might be some restrictions with the password to make it as secure as possible. So a capital letter, a number, a form of punctuation, try to make the password as secure as possible. And once you click on next, then the next page, which I'm not going to show you, but I'll explain, is when you put in the account information or the credit or debit card you want to hook up to your PayPal account. So you could, just like Venmo, you could put in a credit card, a debit card, a bank account number, any of those options. You should type that information in, and that will be the account that is hooked up to your PayPal profile. So What I'm going to do now is I'm going to log in. I'm going to sign in with my existing PayPal account because I already have one. Okay. Sign in. Now, I have a business profile, so this might look a little bit different, but I'll show you kind of what a few things that are similar. So once you log in, you sign in, it will, just like Venmo, you'll see your balance, your PayPal balance. One of the differences with PayPal is that you have this whole panel online that that you could use for all these different platforms. When you receive money, when someone sends you money, you'll see it says recent activity over here. If you scroll down, it has, just like Venmo, the date that the transaction was made, if the money's been received, and when the transaction happened. Joe, I think there might be people in the waiting room if you want to check that out. Okay, but you could go through your previous payments and payments that you have made, where it says recent activity. If you would like to request money from someone, there's the request money button, which is found under the money that you have in your PayPal account. So I click on request money. Now, both parties need to have PayPal. So you could pay someone that has PayPal, but the person needs to have PayPal. You could try sometimes, if there's some exceptions to that rule, you could try typing in an email, and you might be able to pay someone without a PayPal account if they have kind of a connection with a business or something like that. But typically, both parties need to have a PayPal account. You would type in either the name, username, email, or phone number of the person that you want to pay. Now, sometimes you'll type in the phone number, which is the information that you'll know, but the person that you're trying to pay set up their PayPal account under their email. So if nothing comes up, I would try, first their phone, then their email. You can even try their name. Try all three options before giving up, because sometimes the user will set up the PayPal account under one of the options as opposed to setting it up with all three. So you actually have to be aware of that. Make sure that when you are requesting money from someone, that you're putting in all the alternatives. Once you type in their name, you'll click on next. Just like Venmo, the exact same page will come up where you'll type in the amount of money that you want to request, and you'll also see the two options, which is private or public, or all those information, those options. And you could actually go through with the purchase that way. The person will receive an email or a text message, or however they receive updates from PayPal. They'll receive a message. Jordan Mittler has requested, $5 or whatever it is, and they can then go into their PayPal and actually pay the amount of money. Let me go back to the page that I was at the beginning. I'll show you one or two more things. Now, you'll see here we have the option over here where it says pay and get paid. So I just showed you how to request money from someone, but here's how to actually pay someone. So you'll see if I bring my mouse to where it says pay and get paid, there's a tab that says make payments, and I'm going to go on where it says send money. Now, if I click on send money, just like requesting money, you'll be asked to type in the name, the username, the email, or the phone number. You could actually even switch between the four options: sending money, requesting money, going through your contacts, and I guess more. But sending and requesting are the two important ones you have to be aware of. You'll just like requesting money, type in the name, username, email, or mobile, and you'll be able to actually go through with that payment. Now, let's go back home. When you have PayPal, when you're signed into your PayPal account, if I go to a program like Amazon or Fresh Direct or an online website, you could actually see that an option instead of credit or debit cards will be PayPal. And if you click on PayPal, you will type in the information it's requesting. Usually it will be the email and password that you hooked up your PayPal account with. That's all the information you have to put in: email and password. No bank account number, no credit or debit card number. When you select PayPal, when you're online shopping, you just need to type in your email and password. That's it. And that's one of the reasons why people use PayPal and how secure it is. where people actually don't need to put in all their bank account information, but just by using their email and password, you're able to make transactions. Okay, so just to quickly recap, welcome back, everyone. I hope you all benefited from the 2 breakout room sessions that were offered. I hope that in the maps room, everything went well. I'll get my report from Julie and Caroline. I know in the PayPal room, everyone benefited. We recorded the PayPal room. So for those of you in the maps room who would like to see what we covered in the PayPal room, when we send out the recording, you're able to benefit from that option. Okay, Joe, let's go to the next slide. A few things you could do this week to review what we learned today in class. Everyone should stay in the Zoom. You should not leave the Zoom yet, because I am going to make an announcement at the end that's important. Few things. Make a check deposit using an online banking app. You should all know how to do that. Send or accept money using Venmo. If you were in the PayPal room, send or accept money using PayPal. Sorry, we did not do stocks as we planned on doing it. But if you were in the maps room, your homework can be, and I'll type it over here, type in, all right, use the Maps app to find directions to a location. You know, I think that will give you enough to do for what Julie and Caroline covered. I'm sure they covered more, which you could explore with. That's something you should try to do. If you were in the Maps breakout room, we will be sending out in the WhatsApp and email. We will be sending out in WhatsApp and email the optional homework. So you don't have to take a picture of this. We'll be sending it out later today. Okay, next slide, Joe. Our weekly reminder, and this is, you know, it's getting even more important as our semester is coming to a close. We are still open to having as many seniors join our classes as possible. Please share the Zoom information with anyone who you think can benefit from these free classes. We have about 3 lessons left. I'll explain what I mean by that third one. You know, you should definitely share the information with anyone who you think can benefit from these classes. It's a free class. We can have as many people on Zoom as possible. All right, next slide. Another announcement, our virtual portal, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about when we finish our semester, is you could check that out at portal.midlerseniortech.com. We offer 2 professional classes there that are professionally recorded. The computer basics class, which is only $5 a class, and our advanced computers class, which is $7.50 a class. You could check those out. Joe just put the link into the chat, so you have that. If you have any questions about the portal and what exactly we cover in that class, why should I take the portal, ask me, call me, message me, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. All right, next slide. Today's class was recorded. We will be sending out a recording of today's class later this afternoon with more information. There will be a Q&A session tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please email us if you have any questions before that session. We will give priority to those of questions that we received between now and then. You could put them into the chat, but please send an email to us as well, to either myself, Julie, Caroline, or Joe. If we have time, we might take questions on the fly, but we give priority to those of you who sent us questions before the session. They should be directed towards today's lesson. If you do have any questions on other things, you could put them there, but we might not address those. Our next class will be 1 week from today, Sunday, April 18th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be lesson 9. Next week, I'm going to tell you about a very special event that we're planning for the following week, April 25th, I believe. Which is, I'm not going to tell you about it today, but we have something special that we're planning for April 25th. And then lesson 10, the concluding lesson of our semester together, will be the following week. Now I'm looking at the calendar. Next week, April 18th, we'll see you at 11:30 for lesson 9. The following week, April 25th, is still a class. It will be at 11:30. We're having a class, but it will be a little special. I'll tell you more about it next week. The following week, which is May 2nd, will be our final class, the week before Mother's Day. We will wrap up. We will review everything we covered this semester. So we have 3 classes left. Lesson 9 next week, a special edition class the following week. And then on May 2nd, we will be having our 10th class together, our final class of the semester. And I'll tell you more about upcoming things then. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We will be sending out more information this afternoon with the recording and other information and updates. I hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend, and see you all again either tomorrow for the Q&A session or next week for our next class. Bye-bye, everyone.